Hey, so hopefully that means you can hear me. Although it does look like my audio is clipping a bit, so let me know how the audio is going for you. Seems like our Twitch stream has paused. There we go, we're back. So I think everything's working. Yeah, let me know in the comments if it isn't. So what am I looking at here? I'm looking at my Netlify configuration. I'm going to be around for the next hour or so. I'm just going to hang out, and I'd love your company. Ask me any questions at any time. I'm monitoring the chat on Twitch and on both my and the Arcjet YouTube channels, so your questions should come through to me. I'm also going to monitor, we've got a Discord channel, so if you're not on a Discord channel, head to docs.arcjet.com. That'll take you to this page here in the top. We've got a link here to our Discord server, so join us on Discord. We hang out on there. That's where we will answer your questions. That's our support channel. And I am going to be monitoring Discord over here as well, just to see if there's any questions coming through. And if there are, we'll jump into whatever you want to have answered, and try and work out. I don't know. Maybe you've got a technical problem you're trying to solve, and we can work through that. Maybe you're trying to implement Arcjet with something and it's not quite working for you, or you want to get some feedback on the configuration you're using. Whatever it is, whatever you want to talk about, I'm here for you. And while there's nothing pressing on your minds, I'm just going to hack away on stuff. I thought I'd start with, like, my website has not been updated since, if my scroll works, since 2000, I think. And in fact, it's still mentioned the Australian company that I will use to work for. It's been a while. For those of you who don't know, I moved to the US, so definitely not operating under an Australian company anymore. So I thought I would take this opportunity to update this website. It's currently written in Jekyll and it's hosted on Netlify. And I thought, why not rewrite it? And also go over the top. You can see here I've got a Claude tab up, Overkill personal website with Next.js blogs and conferences, etc. I thought, you know what, let's ask Claude what I should do for my website. I want to create a personal website and do it overkill. I want to use Next.js as a base. I need home, articles, which is my blog, schedule, which conferences I'm going to be at, talks and workshops, which are a list of talks and workshops that I give, a contact page, an about page that includes my bio and profile photos. What SaaS tools can I use to make this a fun and almost silly development project? And they came back with a whole load of, so funnily enough, I think it was trying to go overkill with the whole Sanity.io. Sanity.io, if you're not aware, is a headless content management system, which I already use for my blog. So we can keep that. I don't know why we want to authenticate users. Maybe if you want to post a comment on a blog. My blog currently doesn't support comments because there is no user thing. So maybe we'll go overkill and use something like Auth.js, or I don't know, what could we do that's really ridiculous? We could, I don't know, do something with like an Azure B2B something. We can set up a proper Active Directory of all that would be a bit overkill. But, you know, you never know what's going to happen on this live stream. Databases. Well, at the moment, I'm using Sanity already. It says to move to an idea would be to use Superbase. I actually recently used Neon, which is, I guess, an up-and-coming new-ish. What's it called? Neon. I don't even have it in my history. It's a Postgres database as well, neon.tech. There you go. So I recently signed up for this to play around, so maybe we could do something with that. I'm not sure what we could do there. I guess Sanity might not support hosting comments. Maybe it does. Maybe we can put comments into Neon. Who knows? What else is it suggesting? Starling. I don't know about you. I'm not a hugest Tailwind fan. I use it when I'm prototyping or I want to put something together really quickly. But I find as soon as the website gets a bit too big, maybe it's just me, maybe I don't know how to use Tailwind properly. Maybe I should use it and work out what the best practices are for implementing Tailwind. But I find that changing a style across a whole application becomes a little trickier when you're defining your style so fine-grained almost per class. Frame of motion will be fun. Adding unnecessary complex animations to your site, that sounds like exactly the kind of thing we want to do. Adding analytics, I don't think that's really ridiculous. I think that's something you should have on your personal website. Newsletter, I've currently got a newsletter already, and I think what happens when you subscribe here is I just put your name in a database somewhere. As I say, this is like 4 years old. I can't even remember what I did. It also probably suggests quite accurately that I haven't written a newsletter for quite a while if I don't even know where my newsletter subscribers are. So monitoring API management, Postman to document and test your APIs even if they're just for internal use. I wonder whether I should do an API first blog. Everything is just a JSON response, and then I render that in React instead of using Next.js. We could write a separate API and a separate front end. That would be overkill for a simple blog that just lists my articles, my talks, and a bit of information about me. That could be fun. Performance, Cloudflare. You never know who might target your personal site. I reckon we should probably implement Arcjet. What do you think? We'll definitely be putting Arcjet into all of our, especially if I do API first, well, every API is going to be, I wonder whether we can do something ridiculous like serving different content if you've been rate limited. We could probably do some, like if I've been rate limited, then for me, I might be concerned about data usage, bandwidth, because that's the thing that costs money. So I could do something bordering on ridiculous and say, have a rate limit that applies to all guests. So rather than a rate limit per user, it's a rate limit for any request from anywhere in the world. And I could say, okay, well, I will support up to, I don't know, for demo purposes, 10 requests. And then after that, any images that are served will be lower resolution. Something we could play with. Yeah, lots of options for going a bit over the top. Internationalization, in case you want to trend. So I'm not going to rewrite my blog posts in every single language. I could certainly have an about page in English and Italian, Spanish and German, whatever. But for my blog posts, is it too early to trust an LLM to translate my blog post into another language? And we could have internationalization with AI-backed internationalization, just-in-time translation. So if you're the first person to request my blog post in Italian, that'll probably get triggered by all of the search bots. But anyway, if you're the first request to request the Italian version, then it shows you, hey, we're translating this in real time, goes off to an LLM, does a translation, comes back, and then we can cache that. Obviously, we don't want to hit the LLM every single time. Interesting. Comments? Well, if we're going to use Discuss, then why do we need a database? I think adding Discuss is way too simple. Nothing wrong with Discuss. But if I want to go over the top and ridiculous, why would I use Discuss? I probably wouldn't. To make it even more over the top, you could, I haven't read this part yet. This is brand new to all of us. To make it even more over the top, you could implement a GraphQL API with Apollo client, even if you're the only one using it. All right, hit me up. Give me ideas. What can I put into an API that only I would use? I could expose, and this is something that I would probably want to let anybody see anyway, the schedule page of where I'm going to be. I could expose that as an iCal. I could have an API that returns an iCal response based on my upcoming conferences and stuff. Use WebSockets for real-time updates on your schedule page. So if I have an API backend that reveals my schedule as a JSON or an iCal, I wonder if I can pull the iCal into a React front end and then decode the iCal. Well, obviously I could. Rather than using JSON. That would be ridiculous. But it would also be, like I wouldn't be rewriting the output. I would say, give me my calendar, it comes in iCal form, and React can also then render that out. But we could create a WebSocket so that if I add another event that I'm going to, then if somebody happens to be looking at my schedule page, at that very moment, it'll update in real time. Useful? Probably not. Will we do it? Probably. I know that Supabase has a real-time connector. A lot of the databases do. So what we could do is the API could be connected to Supabase with real-time updates, although I'm not sure if that's only available in their single-page app SDK, because it makes more sense for it to be into the single. Anyway, we can look into that. So using WebSockets for real-time, creating a personal, progressive web application version of your site for offline access. I think everybody needs my blog offline. What do you think? Absolutely. Absolutely. We're definitely going to do that. Implement server-side rendering, static site generation, and incremental static generation in all different parts of the website. I wonder whether we can have a incremental development process. So let's get it up and running first and then work out whether or not we want to start doing. Now, here's the thing. If we do static site generation, but also have incremental static and server-side rendering, it makes sense that if I already know the content that you want to read and it's already statically generated, that I just ship that to you. And then we can overlay non-static stuff on top of that. That'll be plan B. That'll be the extension. Maybe by the time we get to that, we'll be bored. Another project that I want to work on is one that I started a long time ago, which was my URL shortener. So I think we'll run my personal website until just before we get sick of it, and then we'll switch to another project. But of course, at any time, if you've got any questions about Arcjet, just stick them in the channel. Let me know. I think we currently have. Oh, look at that! I've already almost used 15 minutes of my time just blabbering away. You're welcome. Let's see. I'm just going to double check that all of my systems are working. I want to make sure that if you comments that are coming through, I'm not getting anything in my software, my streaming software. I've not used the streaming software before. I'm using blabbering away. You're welcome. Ecamm live for the first time. Let's see. Okay, I can definitely hear myself. I'm just going to double check Twitch that all of my systems are working.